How much does school actually cost in Spain? Is it free? Is it affordable? Or in the case of quite a lot of schools, is it an astronomical amount? It's a question I get asked by parents quite a lot, and it's an important piece of information to have to know when choosing the right school. I'm Sinéad Galvin, founder of Steps into Spain. Having worked with hundreds of families here in Madrid, I can tell you the real numbers and not what's just on the website. And today I'm going to do just that. I'm going to break down the costs involved in a public school, a concertado school, and a private school. And of course, that hidden extras that often surprise quite a lot of families. Let's start with the public schools. Colegios públicos, or for the older kids, the teenagers, los institutos. So in these schools, there's no tuition fee as such because they're 100% subsidized by the government. But you do have fees for certain things like lunch fees. You've got to calculate your lunch fees, which is usually about €6 per lunch per day, per child. And calculate that by the number of school days in the month. Your textbooks, which are a huge cost for families, are covered by a program here in Madrid called Accede. It'll be different in whatever other comunidad that you are in. Workbooks, you do have to pay for those workbooks because you're right against the workbooks, so they're not covered by the Accede because you can't return them at the end of the year. Then other costs that you must think about: school uniforms. Most of these schools will not have school uniforms, and the extra costs would be day trips, and if you sign up to extracurricular activities, which will take place after school. So definitely the public schools are the most affordable option, but you do still need to budget in these additional costs. Next up, concertado schools. So these are private schools that are subsidized by the government, so they become semi-private schools. These schools, in the majority, at least here in Madrid, do not like to publish their fees on their website. They do not like the families to know what their fees are going to be like, which is incredibly unfair. And it's happened that some of the schools that I've asked, they will not give the fees until a family actually enrolls their child. Or in another case, I was allowed to see the fees, but I was not allowed to take a photo of the fees. Ridiculous. So in these schools, initial fees, you'll have a quota voluntaria, which is pretty much like your tuition fee. And that can go between €50, say, to about €200 per child per month. Then you've got lunch fees, which is around about €200 per month. Then you've got books. The concertado schools, funnily enough, are not signed up with Accede in Madrid. So you've got to buy those books. They're quite expensive. You should calculate about €300 per child for the year for the school books. Most concertado schools have uniforms. You will pay additional costs for the day trips and then for extracurricular activities. Concertado schools do vary quite a lot in price, in fees. So really, ask them to share with you, because it's only fair that you as a parent, a family, can budget. If you've got one child, two children, you need to know how much the school fees are going to be each month, how much you're going to have to budget for as a family. The next category of schools, private schools. Within the private schools, you can have Spanish schools, bilingual schools, Montessori, Waldorf, and other of the non-traditional options. These schools will usually start at about €600 to €700 per month in tuition fees, and then we'll move up this is an important point actually. As the kids get older, the school fees get higher. And when you get to the very top, say grade 10, 11, and 12, you're at the very, very top of the school fees. Lunch would cost about €200 a month. Some of these schools will have uniforms, and you'll have to calculate school books as well in these schools. Then we come on to international schools. International schools in Madrid, at least the American and the British schools and IB schools, are the most expensive schools. And tuition fees in these schools, minimum tuition fee would be about €800 per month and could go up to about €15 per month. On top of that, you've got to calculate your lunch fees. If your child's going to get a school bus, it's an additional cost. If there are uniforms and if there are textbooks. So but to be fair to these schools, though, the private schools and the international schools, they do publish their fees on the website. So it's easy to calculate, well, what is the budget for each of the school options. And then the hidden costs. These are costs that often surprise families. First one, uniforms. Uniform is quite expensive. And here in Madrid, a lot of the schools, you can only buy the school uniform in El Corte Inglés, and it's got to have the logo. You could set aside about €300 for a school uniform. So I'm still really undecided. Is the school uniform, does it actually save the family money? Or is it that the benefit of the school uniform is that all children are the same? I tend to think it's the latter. Another important one, iPads or computers, a laptop. Some schools insist that it's an iPad. It can't just be any kind of tablet, it must be an iPad, and it can either must be a certain type, model, or it can be rented from the school. So calculating that cost, because it can be quite expensive. Another one is your school supplies. September is a very, very expensive month. You're paying on a lot, but another one to remember is the school supplies. And of course, the other hidden costs, or not even hidden cost, extras, are throughout the year. If there's additional exams, you might have to pay more for these exams. Like I said before, the day trips and of course the extracurricular activities. So whether you choose a public school, concertado or private, remember that a free education in Spain simply does not exist. After helping so many families, my advice is simple. Get the true costs of each school up front. It'll save any nasty surprises later down the line. Build your have your Excel spreadsheet that will help you to compare one school to another school. My name is Sinéad Galvin, and I help families to find the right school for their child here in Madrid. If you found this video useful, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more insider tips. And here in the comments, let me know which of these costs surprised you most.